Okay, let's wrap this up and make ourselves a drawing. So right down here, it doesn't look like my screen quite got enough. There's a little plus sign, and we're going to say plus, and we want to create a drawing. So you got a few other options here. So we got an assembly tab and a part studio. We were going to create a drawing, and default is ANSI. I don't know what actually it is for you. I want an ANSI A an inch. So ANSI A is telling you the size of the page is 8.5 by 11. Inch is telling you that we're measuring things in inches as opposed to millimeters. Go, if this isn't showing up for you, go investigate and try and find it. Okay? And no views, whatever views are fine. Hit OK. And we're going to open up to a new window, blank drawing, and it's going to basically say, hey, what would you like to throw in this drawing? By default, it says, hey, you're in here. Here are some options for you to drop in here. I'm going to go straight to Part Studio, select that, and I'm going to place it here, and that's what I see. So from here, we're going to do some auxiliary views. So drawing views, I want, and actually I think I have to select this first. And then I'm sorry, projected views. Take that and then give myself a projected view from the right. You can give yourself a projected view from the top. And then if I just hit P, project this view to the left. And P, projected view this on the bottom. Now, this is what I was asking you guys to do, like way at the beginning. And this is our front right top view, bottom view, left view. Pretty clear that the left looks like the right, so that's a waste. Delete. We talked about this in class while we were drawing, that the top view really kind of sort of doesn't tell me much, so click that, delete that. And the bottom view, yeah, but what the heck am I supposed to do with that? So again, delete that. So these are the two views that basically tell me everything I need. Okay, so I'm just going to reorient them. Notice if I move this side down, the other one comes down with it, and that's because what we've been talking about in drawing. The bottom edge here has to match up with the bottom edge there. I'm going to double click on this. It's going to give me some properties about that view. 1/6 scale is a little bit small, so let's try 1/4, and maybe we can go all the way to 1/3. Yeah, so a 1/3 scale fits and it's still all in here. I doubt we can go to 1/2 scale. Yeah, too big. So we'll stick to a 1/3. A few other little options in here if you want to investigate. I'm going to move this to the right a little bit and center this on the page just a smidge. And actually, I think I want more space in between the views, so I'll move that to the left. All right, let's just talk about some dimensioning tools. The whole reason we have drawings is so that we can see the front and the right and throw some dimensions on. A lot of little choices, point to point, point to a line, line to line. I'm just going to go line to line for now because that's pretty easy. So if I click that, I get nothing. If I click that as well, then I get a dimension in between these. So that'd be useful. Likewise, it'd be useful to go from here to here and tell me what this is. Now, theoretically, these should be lined up vertically, so try and do that, and theoretically, this should be somewhere in the middle. This is all the neatness counts concepts, okay? And then how thick is the top? The top is this thick. And you can put it here, you can put it up here, you can put it down below. Figure out where it's going to look the best. That's all that matters right now. Pretty much all. And then how tall is your stool? So we'll go from there down to here and bring this out. Try not to bring it in here because these lines are going to start to cross. And in fact, this should probably be about as far out as I can go. And then how wide is this? See if we can squeeze that in there. Okay. If you want to go from this dot to this dot, you're going to have to do the dot to dot thing, and that might also be helpful because, yeah, how wide is this? Now you and I know that it's as wide as the top, so this should come out as 12, but somebody's going to do something a little different. I'm sorry, 9, but somebody else is going to do this a little different so that these aren't exactly the same, and just for confirmation. If you were giving this to somebody, they might want some confirmation on that. Okay, so you can just keep going and dimension the smack out of this, like make sure these are 3/4, but here's some adjustments we're gonna make. So number one is we're gonna go up here to the tool, and here's a bunch of properties about this drawing. First off, you do not have a tape measure that measures to the thousandth of an inch. So precision on length is not gonna go to a thousandths. Let's go to like the 10th. Well, let's go to hundredths, because that's 0.25, so that'll at least get us 1/4 inch increments. And so we're dropping a couple zeros off of this. All right, and angular precision, if you can get 8 degrees, you're going to be doing great. You're not going to get 8.2 degrees, so do that. You can also check through these, see if there's anything else you care to make changes on. Okay, so that's properties. Came from this little wrench right over there. Next thing is down here on material. Rather than tell you that this is a 1/4 inch, this is a 1/4 inch, this is a 3/4 of an inch, I'm just going to go down here to material, double click on this space, and I'm going to type all 3 divided by 4. Well, actually we're in like drafting, so let's go 0.75 inch thick. And notice that I'm in all caps too. It's kind of a thing with drafters. Hit check. So that just tells you that, hey, all the material is 3/4 inch thick, just in case you were wondering. All right, so that's that. There's probably more dimensions that we want to draw here, but I want to get a little more in the weeds. I'm going to add a sheet. So this is a sheet of paper, and we are going to insert another sheet of paper. And on that sheet of paper, we are good. We're going to insert a drawing view. And again, we're going to go right over here. That little guy is going to say, well, what would you like me to throw in here? I think it would be helpful to see some of the details on this back support. So select that and throw it in here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Import and left, right leg. Don't think I care. And I'm going to throw that in here. Hit escape. I want the right view of this, so I'm going to get a projected view and I'm going to put it over here on the right. Now, let's make these a little bit bigger. So, I think we can go to half scale with this. Yes, we can. So, looks nice over here, but in all honesty, a dimension from the top to the bottom really isn't helpful, because what I'm really needing is the dimension along this line right here. So there's a couple different ways to do that. This again, whoops, just undid that. Let's take that back to half scale and hit go. By the way, and we'll move that. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so this looks nice, but if I dimension anything about it, like corner to corner would be helpful, but anything from top to bottom is just going to bomb. Even the angles are going to bomb because it's not really what we're looking at. And it's because of that 8-degree slant over here. So I'm going to go up here and do what's called an auxiliary view of this line right here, and I'm going to go out here. Now, this is the true looking straight down at it when it's sitting on a bench. That's the view, and those are the dimensions that would be helpful to me. So let's go and do a few dimensions, and I just want to show you that things change. So if I go line to line, actually let's go, yeah. So if I go from here to here, and let's see if we can get it to, there we go. So that's 10.10. All right. If I go from point to point and I say, all right, well, what's from here to here? Like, what's the maximum width of this? Let's see if we can get this to give me that again. It's 10.23. So geometry plays a big role in how you're looking at this, and I want you to understand that. All right? So that when you go out and get your wood, you're like, okay, what do I really need? Because honestly, 1023 isn't what you want either, because that's the straight distance straight through the middle of this piece of wood going up to here. That's not really what I want. What you really want is from that to that right there. So let's get a whole nother number, 10.2. Okay, so just throwing out there that geometry matters, things change. All right, so once again, this is an auxiliary view. Just on a note, they always have to stay in line with one another, so they're on a slant. They're on this 8-degree slant. If you ever want that to break apart because like this piece is hanging off the end and it doesn't have to, and I'd like to bring it down, you can right-click on, see if we double-click on it, and right here it says suppress the alignment. That is, do away with the alignment. Now I can drag this down. Drag it down. There we go. Or conversely, drag this one up because they're no longer aligned. Okay? All right. The hard part about this drawing up here is how do you show that there's a little cutout up here? If I drag this down, let's see if we can zoom in just a little bit, and I do a projected view of that up here, it shows me that kind of 3D-ish version, and that again is because we're at an 8-degree slant. But I really want to tell my customer that this has to be cut in at 1/4 of an inch. So somehow or another I need to get that communicated, and this is probably the place to do it. Although going back to the dimension issue there, we might have a dimension issue here too. So if I go from here to here, see what we say. Hey, look, 1/4 inch. Okay? You could also write yourself a little note. And so you could leave a little leader here that says from here to here and says something to the effect of 0.25 inch deep dado. All right. I'm going to say that we've been going on long enough here. You should have a page with these two pieces on it. These two pieces on it, appropriately dimensioned to dimensions that are useful for you. And you should have a covered page like this. You should throw your name in here, some other appropriate things that actually make this stand out as, hey, this is yours. Okay? And let's leave it at that.